guys, I can't sleep. I've been thinking about that one question from the Heart of Darkness test, and it's really bothering me.
I think I know which one you're talking about. Is it the one that asks if humans are merely savages within the confines of society, or if they're naturally of good conscience?
Yes, that's the one. So, what do you guys think? Are humans savages, or are we naturally good human beings?
I hate to be a Debbie Downer, but I think we're all savages.
I have to agree with Kristen on this one.
Wait, look at this quote from the book.
Hey, I brought my book too.
So, in the beginning of the book, Marlowe says, "The conquest of the earth, which mostly means the taking it away from those who have a different complexion or slightly flattered noses than ourselves, is not a pretty thing when you look into it too much." Marlowe is admitting that this is not an appealing thing, which shows humans are more than savages. Savages would continue in their ferociously violent ways, never questioning if they were doing something morally right or wrong, whereas naturally good humans would realize that conquering others isn't appealing.
I actually think that the book argues the opposite. I mean, look at this quotation from chapter 1. "I got my appointment, of course, and I got it very quick. It appears that the company had received news that one of their captains had been killed in a scuffle with the natives. This was my chance, and it made me the more anxious to go. Through this glorious affair, I got my appointment, before I had fairly begun to hope for it. I think this shows that humans are selfish in nature and take advantage of others' misfortune."
Yeah, I found this quotation, "But his soul was mad, being alone in the wilderness. It had looked within itself, and by heavens, I tell you, it had gone mad." This shows that when out of the constraints of society, people tend to revert back to their natural state, and in this case, it was a more savage-like, mad state.
I think I'm going to have to agree with Sam on this one. Marlowe demonstrates the benevolence of human nature when he says, I hate, detest, and cannot bear a lie, not because I am straighter than the rest of us, but simply because it appalls me. There is a taint of death, a flavor of morality in lies, which is exactly what I hate and detest in the world, what I want to forget. This shows that Marlowe recognizes the flaws within humanity and even admits that he's not perfect himself. And I think this demonstrates that humans are inherently good, because if they were savages, they wouldn't be able to determine right from wrong.
Okay, we all clearly disagree on whether human beings are naturally savages or inherently good, but can we at least agree that our views are skewed by the society we grow up in? I mean, the only reason Marlowe thinks that the Congolese are inferior is because he grew up in an imperial English society, right?
Well, I think that although society may skew people's views, that it also shows that people are naturally good. Because although society is what is thought to be what causes humans to be good, what we're forgetting is that society was created by humans in the first place, before there was anything to cause humans to be good besides their own personal beliefs. The quotation, "Perhaps on some quiet night, the tremor of far-off drums, sinking and swelling, a tremor vast, faint, a sound weird, appealing, suggestive, and wild, and perhaps with as profound a meaning as the sound of bells in a Christian country," describes the culture of the people in the Congo and shows that although it is different from the culture of the people in Europe, that the people of the Congo may still have formed very similar moral beliefs to the people in Europe.
Going off of Adelaide's point, I found this quotation. "But the wilderness had found him, Kurtz, out early, and had taken him on a terrible vengeance for the fantastic invasion. I think it has whispered to him things about himself which he did not know, things of which he had no conception till he took counsel with his great solitude, and the whisper had proved irresistibly fascinating." This shows that when Kurtz came to the Congo, he carried a bias with him because he was not used to what he saw being from Europe.
You're right, Kristen. He does carry a bias with him to Africa. When he talks about the natives in the text, he uses words like specimen and other demeaning terms that convey his negative view of them.
Exactly. Upon his arrival, Marlowe talks about how hard it is to restrain himself from laughing in the faces of the natives. How does one determine what is stupid and what isn't if they are influenced by society?
You guys, we're totally forgetting one of the best-known quotations from Heart of Darkness. The horror. I think Kurtz's last words make a huge statement on society of the time.
You're right. His last words show his true feelings about society. It disgusts him.
It shows that he's more open-minded after visiting the Congo for all those years, because even though his views on the Congo may have originally been skewed by the European society he grew up in, after being in the Congo for all that time, he finally is able to realize that the European society he grew up believing to be perfect isn't as perfect as he always thought that it was.
Okay, guys, so what's the big idea?
I think what Conrad's trying to say is that no one group of people is more civilized than another. And this is supported when Marlowe says, and this has also been one of the dark places of the earth. When Marlowe says this, he's referring to England. So what I think he's trying to get at is that the civilized England is no better than the wild Congo.
You guys, have you seen the time? It's already 3 a.m.
It's ante-meridian, not AM.
Whatever.
OMG.
We have to get back to bed.
Yeah, we do.
Good night.
Good night.
Night.